G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft, where we bring you some more of the amazing games that took place at MLG's Game On, an online tournament that was run very recently. As our green Protoss player in the bottom right hand corner of Heavy Rain, it's going to be Puck from Team IvD. In the top left hand corner is our gold Protoss player, it's going to be EG's Huk. So we have a PvP mirror matchup. These games take place in the losers match from the Group A stage, so both our Protoss players unfortunately falling before the Zerg host and facing off here to see which of them will be able to go on to play against Cats, for their chance at competing in the round of 8. So both Huk and Puck going at it, both in an attempt to continue on in the MLG competition here on Aussie Starcraft. So we've got a PvP matchup, always a little bit of a nail biter. Obviously, most mirror matchups have that aspect to them. Zerg vs Zerg and Protoss vs Protoss I find to be sort of the more nail biting Terran with a lot of options. Often it isn't a case of who has the best micro, but more on what tech choices they make. Frequently Protoss vs Protoss games can live and die by the micro of a very few units. We'll see if that's the case here on Heavy Rain, one of the newer maps in 2014, so most of our players will be fairly new to it, and we'll see how they choose to play it out. Huk going for both his gas quite early ahead of Puck, who still hasn't taken his second geyser. First gateway just finishing up for both our players, and we'll see how these two players elect to open. We do naturally have a few different options, and we'll sort of examine those as the game gets underway. But before we do, I just wanted to run over a few things like how the tournament works. Both players Cybercore coming up at about the same time, and Puck grabbing is his second assimilator now. So just wanted to talk about the tournament structure, because not everyone will be familiar with it. The tournament has four groups, Group A through D, and each of those groups has 4 players in it. The 4 players play a series of games, and whoever wins, the 2 leaders face off in a winners match. The winner of that match progresses. The loser has an opportunity to face the winner of the losers match. So in this case, Huk and Puck is a losers match, and whoever wins this series of games will face off against Cats for the second slot in the round of 8. So we have Kane that's gone through to the round of 8, and it'll be between Puck, Huk and Cats to see who'll join him there and who'll go home to fight another day. Second gateway coming up now for Puck. You also have Puck's mothership core on the way fairly early here. If we check out what's going on in Huk's base, he likewise has his second gateway already established, and we'll just keep an eye on the units tab. It is 1 all for Stalkers and 22 workers apiece, so fairly similar compositions, though Puck chrono boosting out a few Stalkers very quickly. Find Huk actually doing very similar up here, along with chrono boosting out his warp gate. So this could be quite an interesting opening to Heavy Rain. We have a few probes chasing each other around in the middle of the map, trying to get a bit of a scout off. Huk being very aggressive with his stalker, actually going to... they were both Huk stalkers. For a moment I thought one of those belonged to Puck. We have 3 stalkers from Huk moving out with the mothership core to back them up, and likewise we have Puck's mothership core here with a few of his stalkers on the way. 2 more coming out momentarily. So the question is, how will Puck maneuver his mothership core? If this mothership core gets caught here, this could be devastating for Puck, and Huk is going to get sight of that and actually going to do substantial damage to this mothership core. Will it go down? No, luckily Puck's able to save that. Would have been a devastating setback for Puck if Huk had managed to do that damage. Puck getting the opening volley off, managing to take the high ground advantage. Surprised not positioning himself a little bit close to the ramp. The defender's advantage is everything. First shot is extremely valuable. We have 6 stalkers muscling their way up here. Puck trying to keep his own stalkers alive. He's down to 4 of his own. Photon overcharge is of course going to be very useful in holding this off. We have 1 stalker going down for Huk and another one falling down to half health. though that photon overcharge is only going to buy a few moments of time. Blink is on the way for Puck. It's well and truly ahead of any similar tech from Huk, though the robotics facility is on the way with an immortal, so that immortal going to be certainly going to be an equalizer against the blink. It's hard to blink when you're being blasted apart by a immortal. Puck going to be moving out here looking for the pile, in fact going to find it very quickly, so it's going to be a nice pickup for Huk. Not going to supply block Huk, but we'll get him quite close, and every little bit counts. We see Huk likewise picking off Puck's own pylon, though we have both Huk and Puck with workers busily trying to establish proxy pylons as quick as possible, and these pylons do become very important in the PvP matchup. The ability to warp units in your opponent's base, obviously very crucial. Actually saw a hilarious game of White Raz recently where he, during the heat of a PvP game, he wandered his probe straight into his opponent's base and actually built a pylon next to his opponents in the middle of his opponent's base. Quite hilarious. If you haven't seen the game, I'd suggest you check it out. I believe it was one of Husky's cars. Very funny game to watch, so if you haven't seen it, you ought to. We have Puck's mothership core hanging on by absolute thread here. It has 20 energy and 8 hit points, so not a lot of anything left to keep it alive. But that photon overcharge so vital, so doesn't want to lose it and the energy that it's already got. It is well, about a third of the way back to its next photon overcharge, and could well come in very, very handy for this coming defense. I have a lot of blink stalkers now on the field for Puck. He's got 11 blink stalkers, but unfortunately Huk's already got 3 immortals of his own out. Expansions coming up for both our players, so it's quite an even game. There is these blink stalkers though going to prove to be very irritating for Huk. Will Huk realise that these are moving out? He does have to be very careful. These blink stalkers could easily slip up into his main base and make life very difficult. But will these armies catch each other, or will they actually pass like 2 ships in the night and a base race ensue? It looks like Huk may well be falling back. Can Puck get his mothership up here? Indeed he does. There's going to be line of sight, so 4 stalker hit squad is going to be moving into the base. I like this choice from Puck, not committing everything, instead sending in just 4 stalkers. Are going to be able to pick off a stalker and a worker and make their way out, so nice little hit squad from those stalkers. We'd have a hallucinated Phoenix moving out, going to scout this timing of the expansion. Both players' expansions coming up at similar times, so it's still a dead even game between these players as we move into the mid game here. We have 4 immortals for Huk. Obviously Huk really favouring immortals in the current environment. We saw him building a lot of them against Kane earlier on. Nice force fields. They're going to be really making it easy for Huk to force a lot of these stalkers around, certainly allowing his immortals to get great volleys off at the start of this match. We have 2 kills on one immortal and 3 on another. So a lot of stalkers going down for both players here. Another immortal is going to reinforce, and Puck will be forced back here. Huk desperately trying to kill off this pylon, ensure that no further reinforcements can make it. It does look like Puck will have to fall back here. Puck electing to favour these highly mobile blink stalkers, whereas Huk preferring the heavy hammer approach of the immortal. And thus far, if we check out the units lost tab, it is fairly comparable, 3,000 each. And looks like Huk's control with these blink stalkers certainly making it a tooth and nail fight here in game number 1 of this bracket. Looks like Huk's going to be throwing down 3 more gateways, looking to put on a lot of pressure here. We actually have a base race forming up here as Huk marches straight into Puck's expansion. Looks like there's nothing here to be able to save us, even no sentries to prevent this ramp from being walled off. Looks like Puck's going to quickly get one in here so he can wall this off if necessary. No, unfortunately Puck must have been looking somewhere else. We've got 4 stalkers managing to muscle their way into the main base, and Puck going for the full-on base race here, but there is many more gateways for Huk than for Puck. The question is who will do the most damage. It looks like Huk is well and truly inside the main base of his opponents. These Stalkers going to be able to do a lot of damage. Puck's Mothership Core also going to town here as these Stalkers just try to bat off the angry probes. Huk falling back with his main forces. There's still a few sentries and Stalkers here trying to defend. Puck managing to kill the expansion of Huk, but unfortunately unable to make it in the main as there are plenty of sentries here to continue force fielding this ramp all day long. Huk renews that force in his own army, tries to bludgeon its way into the main base. Mothership Core almost going down. Can it kill a sentry, or will it in fact be tickled to death? And it does go down. The victorious sentry unfortunately unable to hold off these three Immortals that just blast their way in. Immortals ideal in a base race scenario, as opposed to the little bit more fickle Blink Stalkers. The Immortals actually having blasted almost straight through the Nexus shields. Probes hurriedly trying to take down these Immortals, but unfortunately unable to do enough damage. The Zealot bodyguards managing to bludgeon those down, and Puck GG's out of game number 1. So it will be 1 game to Huk, and I can imagine a little bit of a cheer going up amongst our spectators. Huk obviously a bit of a favourite in most competitions. Puck, though, has shown us in his previous games he's more than got the moves to bring the pain. So we'll see if Huk can indeed finish this series out, or whether Puck can claw it back in game number 2. Sorry guys, find out after the break. So we'll be casting game 2 of this series right after this. Thanks guys.